Our roster boasts unmatched global talent, backed by a relentlessly passionate fan base. Yet, tragically, we are shackled by the most catastrophic front office executives imaginable. My profound admiration for Nafisa remains steadfast, believing her monumental warning absolutely jolted the entire Women's Basketball Association awake. We just witnessed an absolutely historic, pulse-pounding moment for the sport. Someone finally dared to publicly expose Commissioner Kathy Engelbert. Caitlin Clark's devastating truths are genuinely soul-crushing. Consequently, Engelbert's entire reign could violently shatter forever. Immense solidarity surrounds Caitlin, fiercely championed by loyal peers, fervent crowds, and broadcast heavyweights like Dave Portnoy, Christine Brennan, and Stephen A. Smith. Spread #Justice for Clark everywhere. Demand absolute accountability, and warn the brass that a globally enraged audience is scrutinizing their every single move. Post-fallout, the association's familiar business routines are completely dead and buried forever. Such appalling behavior is completely inexcusable. The association has plunged into absolute chaos, and Commissioner Kathy Engelbert's reign likely suffered a lethal, unrecoverable blow, courtesy of Caitlin Clark. Yet, what explosive words actually escaped her lips? Let us carefully unravel this twisted narrative by rewinding straight back to its turbulent genesis. Days ago, Nafisa Collier detonated an absolutely mind-blowing bombshell during her deeply emotional farewell presser. She bravely confronted the commissioner privately, unearthing dark secrets that violently shook the entire athletic community. Collier claims Engelbert possessed the sheer audacity to demand Caitlin Clark show blind, groveling gratitude toward their prestigious organization. That toxic venom ignited a catastrophic firestorm, while Clark's fiercely calculated retaliation has magnified the commissioner's suffocating, inescapable nightmare tenfold. This dramatic saga remains terrifyingly unresolved, with millions captivated globally. Engelbert absolutely must step down instantly. We are witnessing sheer administrative incompetence orchestrated by utterly clueless executives. I have shouted this endlessly. Such vile conduct is entirely unforgivable. You never behave with such horrifying disdain. Yet, the unfolding nightmare violently continued. Nafisa shockingly exposed Engelbert's alleged God complex, claiming the boss genuinely expected athletes to drop to their knees in groveling worship for her supposedly magnificent administrative triumphs. How could such foul arrogance ever be verbalized? Spitting venomous poison like that simply poured explosive gasoline onto a raging inferno. With Caitlin Clark finally shattering her silence, the relentless backlash burying Engelbert has reached a terrifying fever pitch. Shockingly, the executive proclaimed that Caitlin owes them immense gratitude for earning $16 million externally, arrogantly suggesting their fragile platform is her sole savior. Utterly paralyzing. Here is exactly why this betrayal matters. Nafisa is no ordinary competitor. She remains a fiercely respected, universally revered titan across this entire athletic landscape. Her voice commands absolute authority. Moreover, unearthing these incredibly damning secrets sent shockwaves everywhere, instantaneously triggering a massive, untamed digital uprising across the globe. Utter madness reigns. Mentors, athletes, and loyalists are snapping, while digital networks violently erupt ablaze. Moreover, the ferocious rebellion targeting Engelbert rapidly mutates into an absolute juggernaut. During that exact same chilling exchange, she insisted athletes must physically grovel, blindly praising their fortunate destiny for the monumental broadcast contract she supposedly secured. Such toxic, dictatorial psychology infects our highest command. We relentlessly shed blood, defending an institutional crest that coldly refuses to shield its own warriors. Adding to the sheer insanity, the governing body desperately scrambled to run damage control, yet their highly anticipated emergency declaration proved tragically, laughably predictable. Those phenomenal rookies amassed vastly larger collegiate fortunes than multiple professional franchises combined. Demand their gratitude? Absolutely not. The debt is entirely yours. Meanwhile, one crucial protagonist maintained a profoundly deafening silence amid the chaotic, deafening uproar. Before now, Caitlin Clark maintained an absolute, terrifyingly deafening silence. She was likely biding her time, stalking the perfect, lethal opening to strike, as Kathy Engelbert's pathetic defense completely imploded, effectively assassinating her own legacy. Before we unleash Caitlin's explosive counterattack, let us dissect the commissioner's incredibly fragile retaliation to Nafisa's devastating, earth-shattering whistleblowing. She released an exceptionally brief, chillingly frosty mandate. Claiming deep respect for Nafisa, she merely lamented the public leak of their secretive dialogue. Absolutely zero remorse, zero accountability. Subsequently, the Players Association released their own fiery mandate. They praised Nafisa as a formidable trailblazer and a highly esteemed pillar of this union. Whenever Nafisa voices her truth, the world stops to absorb it. We fiercely believe her profound revelations vividly echo the silent, painful struggles enduring across our entire sisterhood. Management and ownership groups desperately need to heed her profound wisdom. This exact razor-sharp critique is the deliciously dramatic focal point obsessing the entire public. Engelbert's sheer panic to issue any reply practically validates the scandalous rumors, utterly failing to mask the dark reality despite skillfully dodging the core accusations. Simply put, Nafisa's explosive whistleblowing remains absolute gospel. That glaring admission alone violently launched cyberspace into another massive, uncontrollable meltdown. Kathy Engelbert is currently facing a merciless public execution, interrogated relentlessly over her sickeningly degrading insults directed toward the entire unified roster, far beyond merely targeting Caitlyn. An unprecedented gravity continues mounting exponentially, driven by a savage, unyielding tidal wave of fury surrounding the commissioner's hollow retort to Nafisa. She desperately proclaimed harboring nothing but the deepest, most profound admiration for Nafisa alongside every warrior battling within this prestigious organization. We have collectively bled to radically revolutionize this sport. My ultimate obsession is violently protecting a golden horizon for our athletes, relentlessly conspiring to push this beautiful game into the stratosphere. It crushes my spirit seeing the way she framed those private chats and painted the front office. Yet, regardless of our clashing viewpoints, my fierce dedication to these athletes and this mission remains absolutely bulletproof. Zero real solutions exist here, and I fully comprehend that reality. That felt like pure defensive instinct, essentially a frantic attempt to broadcast her wounded ego over being cast as the villain, without offering a single actual fix. The superstar guard finally broke her silence, precisely as the entire organization hovered over the edge of total collapse. Directing her fiery comeback straight at the commissioner, she delivered the exact confrontation the entire sports world was starving for. Stepping into the broadcast spotlight after a grueling rehabilitation period, she sat down for a raw farewell press conference just moments following her squad's crushing playoff elimination. The revelations she dropped left jaws on the floor, beginning with a stark admission of her profound physical agony. Shattering public assumptions, she confessed her shattered lower leg joint caused the misery, ultimately unmasking the agonizing truth behind her vanishing act. Show some gratitude for the colossal paychecks rolling in? Players are expected to bow down and worship the establishment for crumbs? Seriously? That constitutes the official statement you choose to hurl at the public? How does that even count as a justification? Were those accusations fabricated? Commissioner, did you actually spit that venom at your biggest star? The drama hardly stopped there, however. Fresh off the trainer's table, the Phenom fearlessly tackled that explosive backroom chatter between the veteran and the executive that shattered the sports foundation, pulling absolutely zero punches. Boldly declaring her rival's harsh critiques completely valid, her blunt endorsement sent massive shockwaves tearing through the entire basketball community. How is your battered body holding up today? Between the damaged lower extremities and the strained core muscles, what specific trauma officially ended your spectacular campaign? Truthfully, I have been grinding relentlessly in the shadows, trying to piece my broken body back together. It genuinely seems like only the past 14 days have rewarded me with glimpses of my peak physical form again. That busted joint essentially blinded my progress early on. Initially, the superstar delivered this update with the chilling, calculated poise of a seasoned veteran. Suddenly, her tone shifted, unleashing a sentiment that resonated straight to the bone. Erasing all ambiguity, she forcefully co-signed the veteran's explosive allegations as gospel truth. Yet, the hurricane was merely gathering strength. The subsequent inquiry cut straight to the jugular. Did this franchise actually generate the astronomical fortune flooding into her bank accounts? The rookie's fierce retaliation? Let us agree it was utterly devastating, obliterating the interrogation with ice-cold swagger. Reporters pressed her on the rival's bombshell claims regarding the commissioner's alleged backstabbing remarks directed at her, egging for an unfiltered reaction before a follow-up. Her response? Look, truthfully, right off the bat, my admiration for my fellow competitor is massive, and I fiercely believe she fired off some incredibly accurate truth bombs, honestly. The world must wake up and realize that survival right now demands elite visionaries steering the ship from top to bottom. We are living through the absolute zenith of this sport's existence. Over 25 brutal years of history led us here, and this is the explosive climax we cannot waste. The prodigy drew a line in the sand regarding essential modernization. Characteristically, she navigated the minefield with surgical, diplomatic grace. Naturally, cyberspace instantly hyper-focused on a pair of raging controversies. Does the franchise bless this star with riches, or is the entire operation surviving off her golden gravity? Right as tensions peaked, a legendary journalist unleashed a televised bombshell, hurling the entire sports ecosystem into absolute bedlam. Frankly, that brilliant counterattack ruthlessly dismantled the commissioner's arrogant delusion that the phenomenon owed the establishment blind devotion. The plot thickens dramatically, however. The rookie confessed she remained completely blind to the executive's toxic slander until her peer grabbed the microphone. Brace yourself for the kicker. The boss never once possessed the courage to dial the star's number and explain herself. That cowardly quietness screams betrayal, and the public fury is detonating. So, that represents my unfiltered stance on the madness. It genuinely feels like, well, my peer essentially dropped the mic with her brilliant statements. Then the interviewer pivoted. Your athletic empire visibly erupted back on campus, unlocking a tidal wave of lucrative underground endorsements and insane opportunities. Consequently, upon absorbing that disrespect, what emotional chord did it strike? It radiated a toxic arrogance, attempting to minimize your spectacular personal empire and undeniable market gravity. Honestly, the astronomical fortunes these rookies are hoarding on campuses right now border on sheer lunacy. Frankly, their vaults likely dwarf my old payouts. The landscape has violently shifted since I walked across that graduation stage. Granted, I remain 100% oblivious to the exact mountain of cash these university athletes are actively hoarding today. Yet, fate smiled brightly upon me following my debut collegiate season. Suddenly, elite corporate sponsors came knocking, igniting a monumental partnership with the biggest footwear titan on the planet, naturally. The entire world remembers my inaugural endorsement spawned from a legendary supermarket empire anchored right in the heart of Des Moines, Iowa, baby. Hands down, the deadliest frosted pastries alive. Listen, that is exactly how this fierce new generation of female athletes is storming onto the professional court today. It goes way beyond just chasing a massive paycheck. These rookies are forging absolute empires during their university days and carrying all that electrifying star power directly into the pros. Without a doubt, that remarkable evolution proves exactly how radically this entire sport has transformed.